So I know I'm late to the game with an Odyssey review. I was just able to go see it yesterday, but surprise, surprise, it's very good. In fact, I can't imagine the Odyssey ever being done better than this. I believe this is the first time he's tackled an adaptation, and he does so exquisitely. I would really like to see his take on other classic stories, or maybe older movies and stories that weren't as good as they could be. Everything for me that Chris Nolan normally does is working very, very well. The acting is very good, the action is really good, the practical effects are amazing. The Cyclops was pretty terrifying. There's also another terrifying part. It has to do with the poster behind me. Overall, there's very little negative to say about this movie at all. I have one criticism that I kind of want to harp on a little bit because this film is nearly perfect. I would be nitpicking at any little thing that I noticed that maybe could have been better. To me, really not much. I'd have to watch it again and really closely do so in order to maybe find something that could be a little bit better. But I have one criticism, maybe more like a potential warning for Chris Nolan moving forward. He has recycled the exact same structure now for most of his films. There's a non-linear circular nature to his storytelling, and what that means is he likes to bounce around a lot and keep a lot of information from us until we need it at some point later on in the film. And he circles back around. Every time we come back to the same thing that we saw before, now we're given a new piece of information. We have a deeper understanding, richer subtext. All of it sounds great on paper, right? But now that Chris Nolan has recycled this structure with pretty much every movie he's ever made. Maybe not quite the Dark Knight films, but most of the movies he's ever made. I think he has to be a little careful when doing an adaptation, especially one that's as well known of a story as this, because what I found myself doing, because I know story structure and because I know Chris Nolan's movies so well, I found myself anticipating what was around the corner. And most of the time I was right. Now, it didn't take away my enjoyment of the film at all. I still very much enjoyed it, but I do think it might take away the enjoyment on a rewatch. Now that I know what's coming, now that the mystery is kind of gone, who is Zendaya? What is he looking at on the steps of Troy that we keep seeing time and time again? That's ultimately the end of the film, right? And it jumps back to the beginning of the movie. What does the movie start with? And what does the movie end with? What does that mean to the character? Now, this is a little bit of a spoiler. They're essentially physical and metaphorical manifestations of his own guilt. And all of that is super interesting. And I think he did it very, very well in this movie. But now that I know the twist that's coming, the surprise that's coming, that he inevitably always does. He did the same thing with Oppenheimer. Robert Downey Jr.'s character, something was revealed about him at the very end that we didn't get a chance to see before. And now all of a sudden we have a deeper understanding and a better understanding of who Oppenheimer is, who the people around him are, as well as some of the challenges he had to overcome. And it's the same with Odysseus now. We get these little nuggets of information each time we circle around. The reason why it might be an issue on a rewatch is because The Odyssey is a really well-known story. I already know all the plot points. I already know all the story beats that are coming. And you compare that with Inception, Interstellar, Memento. These three movies still feel very original because there's not a lot of other movies out there about implanting thoughts into other people's brains or an emotional race against time and deep outer space, going literally where no one has ever gone before. How many movies can we possibly think of that are murder mysteries told from the perspective of somebody with short-term memory loss? See what I mean? These are subject matters, these are plots that are very original, and on a rewatch, they still feel original. Is The Odyssey going to feel that way? Now that we know that the structure was keeping things from us, things that quite frankly, had we known early on in the film, it wouldn't have had the same impact at the end. So again, this isn't a criticism for this movie. This movie worked beautifully. I've seen him use this structure over and over and over again, and I'm concerned that on a rewatch of a movie like this, it may not hit the same. It may not feel as original. It may feel like a little bit more work to get through some of this, especially since it's so long. But in order to know for sure, I'd have to watch it again. I'd have to think about it. And I'd have to have some conversations with other people because I really do want to know what other people think about this movie. It's a thought-provoking film. It's an interesting film. And quite frankly, it's a great film. It really is. I'm just concerned a little bit about how he likes to recycle the way he tells pretty much every story. Dunkirk is another example of how he does this. And again, Dunkirk is a really good movie. All these other movies are really good. But when you keep telling stories in the same way, you keep hitting a lot of the same story beats in a way that makes me anticipate what you're going to do next. And that's not always a good thing, especially when you don't subvert my expectation. So again, it's a very minor criticism. It's a bit more of just a warning moving forward. If Chris Nolan is going to continue to tell stories like this, you might want to consider changing up your structure. But at the end of the day, this movie is fantastic, and I think it's more than worth the 3 hours and the ticket price to go see it in the theater. And I very much want to know what you guys thought of it, because I realize I may be in the minority about how I feel about the story structure. Again, it works very, very well for this movie, but I'm a little concerned moving forward. Is it going to work well for the next? Is it going to work well on a rewatch of this movie? I don't know that it is. We'll see. We'll find out. Thanks for watching, and let me know what you think of it down below.